So 90 first serves made, just 105. So again, he really minimises what he has to put in on his service games. So it's going to be up to Roger Federer to try and change the direction of this match. Nadal in the driving seat.
Well, at this stage of the match, that's a volley you have to make. Otherwise, Mr. Nadal is going to be lifting the trophy here pretty soon.
Again, at times when you watch him miss that foreign volley, there's just a little too much hand movement and it's just not solid with the racket head.
Yeah, if there is a volley that Federer struggles with, it is that forehand. And I think we saw a little of that with Pete Sampras. If you could get it to his forehand, you might find one or two more errors on that wing. Obviously, pretty solid. Tough to get to the weaker side. Well, that's the play for Federer, and you can see how tough Nadal is. You just can't put him away. You have to win the point 2 or 3 times. Well, Tony Roach knows what it's like. He was number 2 in the world when he lost to John Newcombe in the championship here one year. 1969, of course, he won it back in '66. But Newcombe took the title a few years later.
Impeccable length, and then dragging Federer off the court with the backhand, and already Nadal with an opportunity to put Federer behind in this 4th set. Just brilliant. And it's just the numbers of those that have just dried up in the last set.
Yeah, and this looks like an easy shot, but that ball's coming up with plenty of spin, and you have to create a lot of line, and your timing has to be so exact. Boy, did he get it right in the nick of time. Back to deuce.
Another chance for Nadal. And again, Federer's forehand saves the day. And again, Nadal at times today has just been hoping for the mistake, and it's eventually come, but he could have made his life perhaps a little bit easier.
Well, how many forehands does he have left in the barrel? He'll need every one of them. There's another one.
A huge hold, massive game for Federer.
Now, a 3 out of 5 set match has so many twists and turns, and if this is a come from behind victory for Federer, that was an important game. A couple of break points saved, and you can see Nadal so comfortable serving in to Federer's backhand. He knows that he'll be in the point. Federer's not going to be producing winners off this kind of serving pattern.
And there you can see plenty of yellow dots, not too many black dots there indicating second serves. And it would have been a worrying game for Federer to have lost, because the last time he had break points was at 6-5 up in the first set. So for the last 2 sets, Federer unable to create one break point opportunity against Nadal's serve. And just like at the start of the match, the crowd trying to get behind Federer.
Now, Federer did a good job with the attack, but once he's forced to hit one volley and then a second, and if he has to hit a third, you know he's in trouble. Softens him up here, and now he's got plenty of court to pick. Well, that time the forehand down the line worked beautifully.
And that's really the biggest problem for Federer facing Nadal, is to be able to sustain that type of hitting.
Well, that's a good aggressive play, and we're starting to see the Federer that so distinguished himself early in the match. The first sign of anything short, he was all over the Spaniard, and now he's earned himself a 15-30 position here in this game.
And that's the problem for Federer as well. Nadal can just keep going back to his back, and even though Federer knows it's coming, it's impossible for him in those sort of points to get himself out of trouble.
Yeah, when he gets his weight on top of these forehands, I mean, that ball is accelerating and it's going straight up, and you're trying to make a drive off that is very tough.
No, it's unbelievable how he can win some of those points.
Gosh, if Federer doesn't play the perfect volley, Nadal makes him pay the price. I mean, this volley right here, look at that play. So creative.
So both men surviving some pretty tense moments in their opening service games, and yet they both hang on.
Now that was one of the better return games we've seen from Federer, showing some signs of life. But he has yet to crack the Da Vinci Code here. He just cannot seem to get past Nadal's serve.
Again, that forehand, it's just not the speed of it, but the spin that just keeps running away from Federer. Well, that has just won him a hatful of points today. That first serve in, forehand big into the backhand corner.
It's really amazing that Nadal gets as many of those back as he does. He's got the two-hander. He needs to take that extra step. Another example of it there. Just couldn't quite get outside it enough to pull it back cross court.
Some genius from Federer this time on the run.
This is sweet. Oh. Pretty as a picture.
Surprising change of length there from Federer, and it unsettled Nadal on his run in. And the world number one is 2-1 ahead. Fourth set. In the last couple of best of five set matches that these two have played, Nadal has won it in the fourth, and early indications are though that Federer has got enough game left that he could still take this one to a fifth. He has struck the ball well at the start of this fourth, and mentally, perhaps more than anything, is still showing that he's relishing the challenge of taking on the best player on clay in the world.
Yeah, I think he showed a little bit of joy. You know, enjoying the battle, because I think there was a time there in the third set where he was very unhappy and very discouraged. And you really have to embrace the challenge and dig deep to find your best tennis when you can.
Do you feel as though he needs to try and start the point off a little different? I mean, Nadal is very comfortable just rolling in that first serve. That's sub 100 miles an hour, that first serve into the backhand, knowing Federer's going to just hit it back up the middle and then start using his forehand. Do you think he should take a few more risks?
You almost feel like he needs to do something different. I mean, this pattern is not a good one for the Swiss man. Now that's the kind of tennis he really needs to produce. It's interesting that, you know, Nadal's serving almost 90% first serves, and that's a tactic that Mats Wilander, the great Swede, used to employ. Just get that first serve in, and over the course of a 5-set match, you know, it's going to work for you. So somehow I think Federer needs to change it up, make Nadal think about that serve more. Because right now it's a winning pattern for the Spaniard.
Got it on his forehand, that return, and it was far more aggressive.
And I think even for Federer, just standing in a little closer might make Nadal think. Imagine if Nadal missed a first serve and actually had to think about hitting a second. You know, that could be a very small positive step.
Federer spinning his wheels at the back of the court there. And again, a 15-30 point, which Federer enjoyed in Nadal's last service game, goes by. There you can see Nadal yet to miss a first serve in this one, and Federer himself not serving quite as well in the third set, but has enjoyed a good serving day. Stunning change-up.
Well, which was better, the backhand or the forehand pass? Nearly knocking himself over when he hit the shot. Great camera angle, brushing up the back of the ball, and he nearly took himself out. But he's taken himself finally to break point.
You've got to admire Nadal. 95% of his first serves have gone out wide, and on the break point down, he hits one of his biggest serves of the day up the tee. And again, what does that say about his maturity? Again, it's the change of strength that really causes a few problems for Nadal.
It's so rare to see Nadal make an error. I mean, I think Federer was even surprised.
And he's done it. Well, you're always a little reticent when you say Federer's not going to come out on top in a match, and at the start of the fourth, I have to say I thought it was going to be all Nadal, but again, he proves his medal and his worth and the reason why he stands atop of the game. Tennis of the highest order from Federer. It was needed, it has to be said, but he's produced it. And this match still very much alive.
Well, I'm not sure which was more impressive that last game, the finishing stroke or the fact that Federer anticipated the cross-court play, stepped up into the court. I think those are the kind of recognition points that he needs. Because Nadal is a very patterned player. He enjoys the cross-court. If you can anticipate it, you can take it away from him.
And this is the best passage of play by Federer for some time.
Mark, did you bring your, a bite to eat? Because we might be here for a while.
Again, though, he's creating some room with his shots.
You know, over the course of a match, both players will experience moments where their energy is high and energy is a little low, and you sense that Nadal perhaps just struggling a little bit. Obviously, it has a lot to do with what Federer is doing off his shots. And oftentimes the score has a lot to do with how you feel. If you're winning, boy, your energy level's pretty high. For a while there, Federer was behind in the score and struggling with his.
Thought he'd made it.
And there are moments when you've got that momentum, and that's the kind of shot Nadal was making when things were going his way. Instead, now it's Federer who's in command.
And we shouldn't forget that Federer was a break-up in the fourth set at the French Open last year. Got a bit disillusioned with the referee at the tournament when he felt as though the match should have been stopped because it was getting so dark. There won't be any sort of similar scenario here. But he has been getting closer and closer to Nadal. Will today perhaps be the turning point for Federer? Well, he's certainly turned this match on its head at the moment. A wonderful couple of games there for Roger Federer to lead 4-1 in the fourth. So he probably got a little weight off his shoulders there in those last couple of games. Must have felt as though The world was on them in that third set, and at the start of the fourth it was a little dodgy there down break points, but suddenly Federer has shown why he holds 7 Grand Slam titles. He was down against Baghdatis in the beginning of the year, the Australian Open, a set and a breakdown, but he didn't panic and he turned it around, and after 3.5 hours he's just a couple of games shy of taking this to a deciding set. It looked improbable at the end of the third set that this was going to be a scoreline in the fourth, given Nadal's recent history.
Finish 0-15.
Yeah, that's a tough call there. The lines person just getting it wrong, immediately overruled. And Federer showed a bit that he was upset with some of the actions here on the court. You can see him raising his hands as if to say, can someone please get a call right? I think the crowd was on him just a little bit because of some of his conversations with Romano Grillotti, the chair umpire. Of course, nothing like when Bjorn Borg played Adriano Panatta, the Italian, in the championship here in '78, and the crowd were throwing coins at Borg, who slowly picked them up and took them to the chair. Of course, Borg won that match in 5.
It's an absolute gem. And again, Nadal just not recognising it at all.
And Federer wanted to play a shorter point here. You know, he knows perhaps he's going to lose this game. Make your opponent do some running, in spite of the fact that he'll eventually win this game.
There's a backhand from the opening set. And Federer right now back with a vengeance. Couldn't complete the comeback in that game to get the juice, and Federer He stands at 4-2 in this fourth set, and it would be nice to get the comfort of a second break. Hopefully, for Federer's sake, it's not necessary.
Second serve.
Yesterday he felt a little unlucky about the number of balls that Nalbandian hit onto the line. Doesn't feel quite so bad when you're the one striking it.
Yeah, it looks like they're not going to have to clean the lines down on that end of the court. Federer's doing the job for him.
Well, he's still allowed Nadal a look. Couldn't have wished for a better game at that stage of the match. And Roger Federer so close to levelling up this final. Federer desperate to gain a victory over his now great rival. It has to be said that Rafael Nadal, despite what Federer will say that it's not a rivalry yet because I'm not beating him, it is in everybody else's eyes, and he's got a chance the next couple of games to go head-to-head with Nadal in a final set.
Yeah, and it's interesting to note that there has to be a little bit of revenge on his mind as well, because it was Rafael Nadal who snapped Federer's 56-match win streak on hard courts. Wouldn't there be a nice little bit of redemption if the world #1 could top Nadal here on a clay court? Boy, it would stop Nadal's run at 52, just shy of the existing record of 53 by Guillermo Vilas.
In some ways an important game. Federer spoke about it yesterday, serving first in the final set against Nalbandian. He felt as though that helped him, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind trying to break the serve to allow himself the same luxury today. Oh, that's one of his best volleys ever.
I mean, that's just... Well, Nalbandian said he was human, but after seeing that volley, I'm not so sure. I mean, that was proof that he's been touched by the gods.
And all of a sudden he's rediscovered that cross-court backhand. Federer with 3 set points. You couldn't have imagined this set to have gone any better. And that's it, Federer wins the 4th set. And it's going to be the world number 1 versus the world number 2 over 1 set to decide the Rome final.